Imagine if everybody knew their true identity in each city. They knew it with absolute certainty. They knew themselves as a TA. They knew themselves as a volunteer. They knew themselves as a fifth dimensional being, and they helped others. And they fixed all the issues that's in world practical third dimensional world in their own city. And their kids got to stay. And then the kids learned their true identity. They learned about what forgiveness is. They learned how to get into their purpose, mission, and plan, divine plan. Guess what happens to the whole city? It turns into a golden age. That's
Yeah.
a mathematical guaranteed. And it's going to start here at the crown chakra of Mount Shasta in royalty. And it's going to get copied and pasted on every chakra on the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Everyone else will copy and paste what happens here in Mount Shasta. And
Yeah.
then that's how the golden age is going to keep moving through the Aquarian age for the next 2,000 years. When your income can match your housing, everybody turns into a Christ. And then it worked. The only reason people stay stuck.
Beloved heart, before we begin, I have a special gift for you. If you've been feeling the intensity of Earth's rising plasma light codes and want to stay centered in your body and heart and energy field, I've created a free light language quantum grounding activation just for you. This transmission will help you stabilize, integrate, and align with the new frequencies flowing onto the planet. Simply join my mailing list. See the link that's in the show notes to receive instant access. Let's ground into the light together.
This is the transfiguration of the new you. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. We have a special guest here with us, Afa, who lives in Mount Shasta, California, and he brings a lot of diversity and excitement and support for the community. I mean, he's really innovative as far as being very practical to help communities. And so this is a special message that, we want to talk about in relation to the golden age, our true identity, getting to know ourselves, and so forth. So, Alpha, I just want to welcome you to the show. So, thank you for being here
For
and
having
doing
me
this.
on here. I'm so honored. I'm blessed. So thank you. It's amazing.
We're honored to have you as well. Will you share a little bit about your backstory with us so the audience gets to know you a little more?
Yeah. So I grew up on this island right here.
Yay, it's beautiful.
I grew up in Tahiti. I was born on Tahiti and I was adopted into a Hawaiian family. And so I grew up in Hawaii for 18 years. It was a mixed plate family. We had a couple adopted brothers and sisters and mom, dad. Um, and I grew up in Hawaii. And typical island boy, but I grew up chanting Old Hawaiian, aka Lemuria, the people of Mu, um, dancing hula, dancing all the cultures, speaking. Um, so I just grew up very indigenous island culture, family. Ohana it's an expanded term. It's not just bloodline, it's your whole community. It takes a whole village to raise kids. And so I just kind of grew up in that culture. Played a lot of football. And luckily for our high school team, we went undefeated state champs, which meant all of us went to Division I full ride scholarship football in colleges. And so I ran off to University of Utah and I had a full ride scholarship. And this is way back in the days. This is like 60 pounds ago. So this is back with Alex Smith, Urban Meyer, 12-0 Fiesta Bowl. I started as an outside linebacker. I went on an LDS church mission. I knocked doors for Jesus. And then I came back for a 13-0 Sugar Bowl football season. And so I did a lot of competitive football. So that's where it got me my edge. And had a lot of fun doing that. And then I ran businesses. I ran a fire inspection company. So that's the little fire extinguishers, sprinkler, alarm systems, fire hydrants, restaurants. I employed 27 guys, $10,000 a week. Um, After that, I did that for like 5 years. Then I did real estate investing and I fixed and flipped a few houses with infinite ROI, which basically means I never use my own money ever. Life hit me in the face. I got divorced. And then I just threw my whole LDS Mormon life, which I'm super grateful for. I grew up on scriptures and basic goodness for people, Christianity, and just threw the whole thing in the lake and started a whole nother life. And then that brought me out here to Mount Shasta, and I have kind of got out here 10 years ago. And then I met someone very special, and we ran off and became full-time RVers for like 4 years, which meant we made about 10 grand a month for about half a year. And then we took the rest of the year off and we just traveled the US. And then we had babies. And then we were married for like 7 years. And then life hit me in the face again. This third dimensional Earth life is a little tricky, and that's okay.
Mhm.
So from there, I learned foreign exchange market trading and more business and more travel and more spirituality. She's the one that taught me a lot about the metaphysical, um, Saint Germain's and the I am, which I'm very strong into. Came up with Christian spirituality, and I've always been open to indigenous. One of the great books is Tales of the Night Rainbow. So if anyone wants to learn about ancient Lemuria, that's a really good book to learn from. And so I'm kind of indigenous sweat lodge and spirit of the West over here, and Hawaiian chanting at headwaters to the Hawaiian Ahu at the Peace Gardens here in Mount Shasta, creator and writing the old songs on the ukulele that kind of went a little bit worldwide, into metaphysician. I am that. I am into a practical. Now we are helping to push tiny houses on wheels in the city of Mount Shasta, and we're making history on a practical level down here on third dimensional Earth. So that's in a very short nutshell. I am now with the best woman ever named Araya Wolf. You guys might have had a podcast with her just recently and show that episode. But yeah, that's my beloved. And we raise two kids right now here in Mount Shasta. So I'm excited. I'm grateful to be here. That's my life in a small nutshell.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's a lot of experience, which is why you're perfect for these conversations, about true identity, being human here on this
I got
earthly plane, this
lots
physical
of experience.
plane. Yeah, so I mean, like, speaking of true identity, I mean, like, when we talk about our true identity, what does it actually mean to know ourselves as spiritual being first, having a human experience, and how does life change when we begin living from knowing rather than just simply believing it?
That's a huge question.
It is.
It's huge. It's huge because there are
Yeah.
so many beings that's well, in our communities. We have so many beings that are awaken and awakening,
Hmm.
but there's like a justice scales of Portia. If you ever heard of that, the justice scales, there comes a tipping point
Did
where
you
you,
say Portia? Because I
yeah,
love Portia.
I love
It's the
Portia's the best. Portia's the best. If anyone doesn't know
yeah,
Portia, you are not.
yeah,
You need to get in there because
yeah.
I mean, you want opportunities? Well, then she's the
Mhm.
one. She's the one that will open up these doors,
Oh yeah.
and she'll tell you straight to your face. It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and have one than not be prepared
Hmm.
to have an
Yeah.
opportunity and not be prepared. She's the first
Yeah. It's
to,
it's Lady Portia, right, who's beloved of Saint Germain. Is that
oh
correct?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Those two, that powerhouse right there,
Yeah, powerhouse, yeah.
that is my everything. Those guys, I call them SG because I love them. I love
Hmm.
them a lot. Like a lot, a lot. Like that is my real brother in many lifetimes. I know other people have the same experience, but like I play favoritism. That's my guy.
It's okay.
So
He's your main guide.
yeah, I
Yeah.
love that guy. That guy's my everything. That guy, I know that guy at a very deep level. That guy's Super awesome. I could tell
Oh,
stories all day long. So many stories with that guy. I love that guy.
oh, well, maybe we'll love to hear some of them here.
Yeah. Well, you're in Mount Shasta, and
Yeah, of course.
if you want to meet him, just come say hi. So,
Yep. Yep.
where was I? Opportunity. Tipping point. So there comes a point where people on the Christianity path or awakening path or Buddhic path or any path, it's just all ladder steps in consciousness. One step at a time. We're all just rising. We're all climbing Mount Shasta. Some of us from north side, some of us from east side, some of us from west side and south side. But we're taking the scenic route. We're going up. Some of us are going vertical limits. Some of us are just stuck at the bottom and they just want to chillax at the lake for a few lifetimes. That's okay because when everybody gets up to the very top of this mountain, we're all at the same place, no matter what pathway, spiritual pathway you desire to choose or prefer at this
Hmm.
time. You just prefer it. It's okay to switch hats and put another hat on and you prefer something else. But when you get up to the top of the mountain, it always ends up with I am that I am. And then from upstairs looking down at your body that you think you are, I am. Point at yourself that I am. And then when you look at me and Monica, you just say, I am that I am. And then you just go back and forth, left and right, up and down. Everything is everything. Omnipresence literally means everything, including inside of you.
Hmm.
I think people kind of miss that part. So
Yeah.
there comes a tipping point with Lady Portia where you finally move past faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, which is true. Okay. So believing is something that you have faith in something that you hope for that you can't see, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. For example, I'm sorry, but Easter Bunny. Some people believe in the Easter Bunny. Hmm, you know, faith means that you have a substance of something that you hope for, the evidence of things not seen, but it is true. So that's the difference between faith and believing. A lot of people believe in the spirituality phase and then they move to faith. Faith is you're starting to move into the direction of your identity. There comes a level where your faith tips the scales of Portia and it hits 51%, then it goes to 65, then it goes to 85, then it goes to 257,000. When you tip that scale, you move from faith, which is hope and believing, and you move straight into confidence and absoluteness and knowingness, and you only speak in explanation points and you no longer speak in question marks. There just
Hmm.
comes a tipping point, and you start to say things like this. Hi, my name is Afa, a 6'2" Polynesian man of light, and I absolutely know that this is not me with absolute certainty. You start to know, you start to radiate what namaste really means, or aloha. Namaste means the God within me honors the God within you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
That's
say
good.
Afa, the body, the limited gender, culture, swab your mouth, and genetics, and
Yeah.
earthly Lemurian, and what. No, it doesn't say that. This is the grace within me. Grace is you. This is the aura within me. The aura is within you. The presence that I am, presence is you. And so
Yeah.
that's what what we mean about that. There comes a tipping point when your spirituality consciousness level where you tip the scales of Portia and you now know yourself with certainty. At that
Hmm.
point in time, you become the title of a Christ. You become the title of a Buddha. You know yourself as in the world, but not of the world. You start to take on the mantle of a prodigal son and a prodigal daughter that
Hmm.
returns to the father's house. And when you return to the father's house, you just get this big ring, Saint Germain ring that's purple, and you use that ring like a king ring, and you seal the letters like a king with a candle and wax. You make law, you decree law. What happens?
Hmm.
You wear the purple robes, you put on the sandals and the fatted calf and the buffet, and the father rushes when the father sees the son turn around and come back to the father's house. The father's love rushes in and embraces and says, I thought my son and daughter was dead on an earth as an earthling, thinking human, and then came back to the father's house. And I love you so much. Everything that I am, everything that the father hath is thine. And so when you read the Bible or you read any or the Bhagavad Gita or metaphysics like um, Course of Miracles is really good. Saint Germain, awesome. Disappearance of the Universe is super good. When you come from when you tip the scales and you become certainty on your identity of knowing who you are with certainty, with confidence, with an explanation point, where you know yourself as not Afa, a 6'2" Polynesian man of light, and then you read these books, and then you study, and then you learn, and then you act, and then you start to do stuff inside the city, in the county, and you start to bring these things down. That's where you literally become a living Christ, the title of a Christ,
Mm-hmm.
where everything you touch turns to gold. You're a living Saint Germain alchemy. You are living in a radiance where people come to you and they say, "Your hair is so beautiful," but it's not your hair. It's your aura. It's your glow. It's the stained glass windows in the Catholic churches.
The
It's
Midas touch.
yeah, you are that. But like what we were saying, it's just like Lady Portia. She gives you an opportunity of consciousness, and you get to pass the test. And then you get to pass the test, and then you get to pass the test, and then as soon as you pass 51%, it just takes off. It just goes to NASA space shuttle status, and you automatically become what I call a TA to the professor, the masters. You become a teacher's aide in the master's course, in the master's class. You're not the master, but you were a student before. You went through the class, you passed all the tests, and then the masters say, we trust you, we love you. Here's the cheat sheet. We need you to grade all the other students. So we're going to send you all the other students that once used to be where you were at, and you need to help them. And
Mm-hmm.
so I hope that I'm here in Mount Shasta and everybody that's watching this that comes here to Mount Shasta, I can just knight you. You are now the teacher's aide. The more conscious Christ I can put on the earth, the faster I can go back to Lemuria and Venus. And then I'll see you in another 200 years and help the rest of the world.
Or
So,
yeah.
yeah,
And
hope
I
that answers
mean,
the question a
I
little
mean,
bit.
or just complete the cycles that you come to complete here on Earth, right?
Right.
If that is your calling, of course, if that is part of your purpose and mission here. Um, but yeah, so I mean that's a lot. But speaking of that though, I mean, from your perspective, what keeps us on the wheel of repeating karmic patterns and
Oh, that's huge.
what role does true forgiveness play in
Oh
finally
my God.
completing those cycles?
Oh my God. That is so monstrously huge. You know how many people study the wheel of karma and lifetime after lifetime after lifetime,
Mhm.
and they study and study and study and study, and then they still do not have the key to get off of it?
Hmm.
Or you pay $10,000 to go join a course and you still don't have the answer of how to get off, like a logical, practical answer, how to get off the wheel of karma. Okay. I will teach you. uh, just remember, I used to be a student in the master's class, the Master of Saint Germain. I'm just a TA. So I went through the pop quizzes, the midterm, and the final exam as a student, a
You're
Chila.
at PhD level now.
Yeah. Yeah. And they asked me to just be a TA. I'm just a teacher's aide. I get the master's cheat sheet with all the answers to all the pop quizzes. I've done it, and now I get to help other students, right? So if I had a cheat sheet and I could tell you all the answers to every test that you ever go through in life that determines whether you're going to show up on this earth again and again and again, wouldn't you want to make friends with a TA? And if you were the TA, the embodiment of a Christ, one of many, a Buddha, one of many, what do you call that with Kuan Yin? Bodhisattva, one,
Bodhisattva.
one of
Mhm.
many, all the same titles,
Yep.
right? All the same concepts. wouldn't you want to like go get coffee? Like if I was in college and I was taking AP calculus as a student and I had a TA over there that was grading all the students, would I be like, hey man, let's go play pickleball? Let me like pick your brain a little bit. How do you pass the midterm? How do you pass the final exam?
Yeah.
See, what most TAs don't tell you is that there's one master sheet. There's one master answer that's the same answer. It's like the skeleton key of the whole mansion house. It's like the master key for your father's house. There are many mansions. There's only one thing that works, and it works 100% of the time, no matter what the pop quiz is every day, the midterm, which is a huge percentage, and the final exam, which, if you pass these things, you are off the wheel of karma forever, forever.
Let's hear
And
it.
the answer is forgiveness.
Yeah.
That's the master key. I promise on every, that's why I love Saint Germain.
It's a big one though.
It's monstrous.
And
And I'm
it's the
like,
hardest, I
it's
would say.
monstrous. It's the master key. Now, I could tell you all the other 20 different principles. That's like telling you each individual answer, or I can just tell you the master key,
Mm-hmm.
the master answer that passes all pop quizzes, which a pop quiz is when someone cuts you off on the highway and flips you off. Are you going to be mad
Mm-hmm.
at that illusionary second person external outside of you? Or are you
Mm-hmm.
going to view that person as that used to be a consciousness level that I used to be at?
Mm-hmm.
I just see myself in that person and they get to see their future consciousness level that I'm at today.
Yeah.
Are you going to forgive that person right there and you're going to pass this pop quiz or are you not? Because if you're not, you coming back. And if you are, then we get to pass the test of Portia and we get to move our consciousness level one more until we hit 51 and then we launch. And so forgiveness is the master key. And the mantra that I really, 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 really want everybody to really, 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 really get, really get is I forgive everyone for everything forever. I forgive everyone for everything forever. I forgive everyone for everything forever. I promise on my whole life that is the master key to passing all pop quizzes, all midterm exams, and all final exams on this master planet Earth. Oh, did you see that thumbs up?
I
See?
know. I was looking at it. It's pretty cool.
That's the secret. That's what the masters taught me. That's
Yeah.
that's why I get to be TA in this one of many lifetimes. That's that's the secret to pass all of it. So let's break it down real quick. I forgive everyone. Everyone means everyone in your present lifetime. Everyone also means everyone from every past lifetime. Everyone also means any future lifetimes. Everyone. And the most important one is you get to forgive yourself. That's the
Mm-hmm.
biggest one.
Yep.
Yourself. That's almost a midterm exam. You get to forgive. I forgive everyone for everything, everything, everything past, everything present, everything future. And if you're fifth dimensional Lemurian, you know that past, present, future doesn't exist. That's just a human concept. Space does not exist at the higher realms. There's no such thing as space and difference
Yeah,
and distance. None of that. It's just omnipresence. It's just
exactly.
we're here and there. That's why it says I am here. I am
Yeah.
there. I am that. I am that. That's
Yeah.
that's what it's saying. It doesn't wherever the consciousness of God is, there I am also. Where two or more are gathered in my name, there I
Mhm.
am. Period.
Period.
The end,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
That's
And
yeah.
that also doesn't mean though, right? Like allowing harmful behavior from others. You could forgive, but doesn't mean they have to still remain in that
Uh,
harmful place.
When you forgive everyone, whoever did that or seemingly appeared to do that to you, as
Yeah.
if you didn't do that in some past lifetime, that's why it's replaying itself,
Exactly.
right? I forgive everyone, which is really just you. I'm
Mhm.
forgiving myself in
Yeah.
some
I
other
like
form
that.
external in
Yeah.
myself in some other past consciousness level that I used to be in. I'm
Hmm.
forgiving me in a past life. That's what it really
Yeah.
comes down to. I forgive everyone for everything forever.
Hmm.
Forever is huge because
Yeah.
as the masters
I
would have
love
taught
that.
me is that it is pre-forgiveness. The
Mm.
ability to have pre-forgiveness,
Hmm.
like the word forgiveness. ah, Like the word forgiveness is before you give. You give before. That's
Yeah,
what,
that's true. It's fascinating.
yeah.
Yes.
Forgiveness means you're giving before it happens. And so let me give you a short little story. When I was in elementary, going into high school, one of my good friends who was a little older than me, he used to smoke cigarettes in high school. And so I knew that when I get to high school, he's going to ask me if I want to smoke a cigarette and drink beer and all those other temptations like high school would have. And growing up in a really strong Christian background philosophy, I pre-decided, that's a key word. I pre-decided that I was not going to drink or I was not going to smoke. I was not going to do all the other stupid things when I get there. So it is mathematical that when I got to high school, they asked me, do you want to smoke? Do you want to drink? Do you want to do dumb things? And I already decided. I was not on the fence whether I was going to choose to do it or choose not to do it because I already pre decided. That's the secret that the masters want you all to learn. All the lady masters, everybody upstairs, everyone in fifth dimensional wants you to pre decide that you are already going to forgive everyone for everything forever.
Hmm.
I already pre decided the guy that cut me off and flipped me off the bird today in the pop quiz of today, or somebody yelled at me at Rotary Club about something, right? Or some other judgment or some other thing. I've already pre decided that I've already pre forgiven you before the situation ever showed up. So that if you forgive and forgive and forgive and forgive, then why the flippin' cheesecake would you ever have to come back to Earth?
Hmm.
The only reason people stay stuck on the wheel of karma is because you have not yet forgiven something.
Hmm.
That's it. Every time you come to earth and you choose to hold back love or you choose to hold back forgiveness and you choose to judge and you choose to
Hmm.
uh, be human and forget your spirituality and you choose to lash back. Well, that small tiny piece of karma is like a little black dot and just goes on top of your little skin. If you have all these little black dots, that just means you have to replay it over again and over again. That's why you stay on the wheel of karma, because it just
Hmm.
means that you haven't forgiven something yet. But if you take what I'm just giving you, a master key of how to pass the earth, how to get off this rock, it's always the mantra I forgive everyone, which includes myself, for everything, forever. If
Powerful.
if you use forgiveness on your pop quizzes, your midterm, and your final exam, and heads up, the
Hmm.
final exam is your body. The final exam is you finally let go of everything about this body, which includes your name, your gender, political, religious, all these paradigms, whatever you think, whatever you grew up on that's related to the body. That's the final exam. Once you finally forgive all these things, the only thing left, the last question is if I'm not this, if I'm not Afa, then what am I? And that's the final exam. You finally have your true identity.
It is a powerful master key.
So, and then the fun part is if you don't have any karma to replay, then there is no reason for you to come back. The only
Mm.
reason you ever come back is strictly as a bodhisattva. It's
Yeah,
strictly as a volunteer, not
yeah,
because you
that's
have
true.
to, not because you have to.
Kuan
And
Yin.
you learn how to forgive very quickly, and you remember how to forgive very quickly. And the deeper we go into the Aquarian age, the easier it is to forgive. So many
Yeah.
people are going to be making their ascension right now in this
Yeah.
last Aquarian age. Gajillions of people. It's way easier to talk about spiritual ascension topics without being stoned in this lifetime.
And you're helping because you're sharing a big, powerful master
It's
key right
huge.
now with so many.
Yeah, it's huge. I freaking love it.
But how can one know that they've truly completed a karmic lesson rather than just simply walking away from a person or situation?
You would know yourself as them. There is no person. There is no situation. There's just you in action. Again, if there is a person that you still think is external and outside of yourself, then you are still seeing them as,
The separation illusion.
yeah, the separation and illusion. You still think, so your dominant, like the Lady Portia opportunity, your dominant thoughts and your dominant feelings and your dominant words and your dominant actions is still dominantly a human. You're still thinking yourself as gender, political, religious. She hurt me, he hurt me. You're still thinking from here. You have not tipped the 51.75, 250. Because when you get to this point where you're consciously, you think like a Christ, you speak like a Christ, you act like a Christ, you do deeds like a Christ, and you bring about a golden age on top of the earth.
Yeah.
You know yourself as not, this body's awesome, but it ain't me. This body's awesome, but it ain't me. I am a God in me. This thing is eternal forever. This is what I really am. This is just a vehicle I wear.
Yeah.
Everybody else that's around me, that's just a vehicle they wear. It's really hard to see a Christ in another when when you know yourself as not a Christ.
Yeah.
It's also vice versa. It's really easy to see a Christ in another when you know yourself as a Christ.
Yeah.
And so whenever you hold on to the title of a Christ, you're just a walking aura. I say it the way it is. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many people sent to me, micro and sent and me sent on micro missions to them.
Mm-hmm.
If people have done sufficient forgiveness process, then your higher self will high five someone else's higher self and bring them to a TA or a mile marker or somebody that's at this consciousness level. And you'll come to me. At that point in time, I'm already a prayer answered. At that
Mm-hmm.
point in time, you have no choice. You don't even have free will choice anymore. I knight thee, a Christ. Congratulations. I am the mile marker, external validator that you have sufficient forgiveness to the point that you are now a TA for the masters. You are now a teacher's aide.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to start to send you a bunch of students. It's time for you to teach forgiveness. If you're still
Yeah.
struggling with an external person that did this and did that, well, then you're still a student and they're still taking pop quizzes and midterm and final exam. And guess what happens to a student that does not pass the final exam? Guess where you go next year?
Same class.
You go to the same class. And what if you don't pass the pop quiz? And what if you don't pass the midterm? And what if you don't pass the final exam again? Where do you go?
Just keep repeating.
You go to the same class
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over
Very
again.
much. Same repeated pattern.
Yeah.
Same repeated lesson.
Yeah. Over and over out of love. And if it wasn't on repeat, so just the fact that we are on repeat is a design of love.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of books in metaphysics that talk about quote unquote unascended mankind. Unascended mankind. That's not the truth in the Aquarian age. In our age today, it is called pre-ascended
Mm-hmm.
masters. Pre-ascended masters.
Cool.
Because in the Aquarian age, you have 2,000 years. We're only 100 years in. We're only 5% into the game. out of love, you get to reincarnate over and over and over until you've forgiven or watched a podcast like this so you can get a heads up and a cheat code and here's a cheat sheet. So you don't need to
Yeah.
waste freaking 200 more lifetimes. You can just be a TA and then you become a pre-ascended master.
Yeah.
Like every ascended master and every lady master used to be us.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people don't really catch that. They went through all
Yeah.
the same thing as us. They just finally hit this forgiveness point where you've forgiven sufficient karma. You don't need to go back to earth. Congratulations, you're now an ascended master,
Yeah.
and you can.
Or
And
Buddhi Shivata, or
yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
and it's fun, and I love it, and I love humanity. I love the people so much that if Saint Germain needs me back in 200
Hmm.
years, you'll see me again.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
fun part
exactly.
about it is that you get such a great momentum with this that every lifetime gets easier and easier and easier to remember
Yeah.
forgiveness. And then you jump up fast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and speaking of that, I mean, like the golden age and all that, I just want to tell the audience, you can find all of Alpha's contact information in the show notes, but he's doing a lot of amazing things, which is going to lead to the next question of what he's doing. Speaking, of the golden age, what does it look like to bring those spiritual ideals into tangible action?
when you're a Christ, um, you cannot stand by and watch suffering. So many people want to meditate underneath a waterfall and never get out of the waterfall, never go out to the village and help the people. They just want to meditate underneath the waterfall. That's it. There are so many people that are fifth dimensional beings here in Mount Shasta and everywhere on the planet that love being way up here. There's
Hmm.
a lot of people in India that whole they're so up here in consciousness level that down here on the earth, not exactly a golden age. Not exactly third dimensional brick and mortar successful businesses, survival mode, all the red eye, housing, all these things. So we're so up here that we're not down here. And then there's the other half, which is they're so down here. They're great at money. They're great at businesses. They're great at life insurance. They're great at legal courts and fine print and all these things, but they have a void and they're searching and they're looking and they're knocking and there's something missing in their life. They're missing their purpose. They're missing their mission. They're missing their plan. And so we have to become like Hawaiians. They say, if you're a true Hawaiian, you are on both sides of the veil. If you're a
Mm.
true Lemurian, you are a fifth dimensional being and you can speak the language of fifth dimensional and take alchemy and precipitate and manifest energy into a physical plane. And if you're a third dimensional being, then you have successful businesses, you are thriving, and you can't not stand for suffering. If anything around you is looking like that, then you're going to jump in there and you're going to fix it. Yeah. So what I call is we need less ad ministry and we need more ministry. Less
Mm.
less thinking about, and get out there. And so and go do it. And so me and Araya, we've been to every city council meeting for a year and a half straight. The only one we missed was her birthday. So I wanted to take her out, so I didn't want to go to city council.
Yeah,
Went to planning. We passed all the new ordinances. We're now starting tiny house villages for intergenerational housing.
amazing.
We started the nonprofit 508 faith-based private. We have land donated. We have phone calls for other land that's coming and being donated. We're working with the city for water septic hookup relief fund, relief fee, or 15% or 15-year note. Um, we just went to Rotary, or Araya went to Rotary today. And so Ohana Connect. So like if you're fifth dimensional way up here, it's not it's not uncommon for you to not be in Rotary. That is common. And it's not uncommon for people that's in Rotary to not be at the headwaters or solstice on the mountain either. And so these two worlds have to merge.
Hmm.
And so I get to play pickleball on Saturdays at the Mount Shasta Resort. I get to be at city councils. I get to work in the field with all the business owners and construction and loggers and gold miners and farmers. And I get to chant Old Hawaiian at the headwaters. I get to be at solstice on the full moons on the mountain. And I get to sing and chant and build the ahu at the Peace Gardens and be in open mic, playing ukulele and doing spirituality work. When you're on this side of it, you're doing both at the same time. You get to merge heaven on earth, not just earth, that's out of balance, and not just heaven, that's out of balance. You need to
Yeah.
learn how to anchor heaven on earth. You're in
Yes.
the world, but you're not of the world. That's that's what we're all learning to master. And so
Yeah.
the faster you get over to Monica here in Mount Shasta, the faster you're going to get there.
And to Afa. Yes. That is well said and very beautiful. I really love your perspective on the metaphysics, how you blended everything together. Um, so yeah, definitely, reach out to Afa. We'll have all his contact information. But the one thing I want to talk about, and I know you're good at this because another tangible action that you're doing is you and Aurea are doing such amazing things here in Mount Justice community that is very actionable and that is creating rippling effects because it is going to reach out to not only the community of Mount Shasta, but also make changes in other communities and the world. I mean, the United States, the world, and the universe too, because this is a great, impact. And that is like Ohana Connect. The whole thing about the tiny home is a big deal. Not too
Mhm.
many people are tackling that about affordable living.
No.
And it's a much needed thing here. And I love everything about the Ohana Connect because it's about helping businesses, helping one another in the community who have businesses and want to go into their own business, their own entrepreneur. Nobody wants to do it alone anymore.
Heck no.
That's not the way. But that's when you're talking about bringing heaven to earth, is that community of support, and that's what Ohana Connect is. You want to talk a little more about
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. So our nonprofit is Ohana Malamalama, which in Old Lemurian means a family of light. And so that our nonprofit um, is helping with the land and water septic hookup at reduced fees and affordable housing and alternative housing. So whether it's tiny houses on wheels today, which is totally legal, and everyone should come to Mount Shasta with a tiny house on wheels because we made history. Now you can legally put it here. Congratulations.
Yes.
And you can have up to 9 on a parcel, up to 9. I don't know how many fifth dimensional unicorns for decades have talked about having community living, eco-friendly living, permaculture living, hospice, last 10 years of the decade, assisted living, uh, what do you call that? Doulas, golden elevators coming down for birthing, community centers in the middle of 9 tiny houses, community garden in the middle for 9 tiny houses per parcel. So how many parcels do you want? And it's anti-Airbnb. There's no nightly rentals. And we have land donated. And it's a 15-year note. And we just got new financing where it's a 20-25-year note. That also means that your tiny house is now less than $1,000. What if it was $500? What if we negotiated with the city that we don't need to pay 10, 20 grand up front for water septic hookup? Instead, we just make a 15-year note and you add $100 on top of your tiny house. What if we work with the city and we say, out of the 9 pieces of land, we're gonna cut it up into 9 separate pieces of land. 125 Main Street, 127 Main Street, 129 Main Street, and now you own the tiny house and the land
Mm-hmm.
combined, willable to all generations.
Mm-hmm.
You can still go to Sedona. You can still go to Ashland. You can still go see your family in Florida. If there's a fire, you hitch it and you run, and then you come back. And what if you own the land underneath it so that no landlords can come over there, buy up all the land, cut it up into 9, rent it to 9 tiny houses, and in 10 years raise the rents to so it's unaffordable and you can't do a damn thing
Right.
because you don't own the land.
Right.
And so what if we, Araya and I, and multiple other beings are coming in now from heaven on earth to move these political infrastructures in the biggest transition of wealth as ever, the biggest transition ever is happening in the next 10 or 20 years, where 20-30% of all of our baby boomers is the population of every city, of every county, in every state. In the next 10-20 years, there's going to be the biggest graduation and ascension party known on earth.
Yeah.
And when they
Can't wait.
leave, assets, farmlands, half of main streets, um, some of them have kids, but they're mostly in big cities. Big city kids don't want to come back to the county. I mean, just farmland USA, Mount Shasta, or anywhere else in all the other 50 states. They're looking for people that's ready for their purpose, mission, and plan. So all of you to forgive, know your identity, forgive yourself, your human side of things, move into your purpose, mission, and plan, because in the next 10, 20 years, there is going to be 100 people in your community, no matter what state you're in, that wants to donate all that they have to your mission, your nonprofit, your tax write-off given. Now your nonprofit owns it. So let's just say 100 acres in the next 10 years is going to come over to our nonprofit donation for our nonprofit. Let's just say we move with the city, fix the water septic, cut it all up for everybody so they can own their own piece of land. And let's just say our little nonprofit can lease, rent to own, or something like that. Here's your tiny house. Here's your land. Here's $500 payments for who cares how long. And then that's yours. Now our kids get to stay when our elders get to move on to their big, huge celebration party upstairs, which is massive. But as of right now, on Earth, when our elders make this graduation and celebration time, our kids are left with $500,000 houses. So if our elementary and our high school and our college kids are left with a $500,000 house that they cannot afford,
Mhm.
guess what happens to our kids? They all leave at the same time, which also means every city, every county, and every state in about 10 to 20 years, there will be a demographic cliff, a population decline of almost 50%, because your elders are leaving, which is about 25%, and your kids are going to be leaving, which is about 25%.
Mhm.
Imagine if your city got cut in half in population 10 years from now. Guess what happens to your city budget? You don't have enough property taxes. So guess what they do? They raise
Mhm.
it. And guess what they do with sales tax? They raise it. So there's a huge party going to go on in about 10, 20 years. And if you're in purpose, mission, and plan, you are in position. And that's what I need you to get there now before it
Yeah.
happens. And set this up. Take our tiny house ordinance that we just passed here in Mount Shasta, copy and paste it in your city, in Sedona. And we'll be here to help. Why? Because when that transition happens, and Sedona has $500,000 houses over there, when you set up your 100 tiny houses, the kids will be able to stay
Mhm.
instead of leave. And
Yeah.
then you become a city demographic specialist. You take a city that's
Mhm.
dying and you turn it into a Nike swoosh. And now your city can thrive.
Yes.
Imagine if everybody knew their true identity in each city. They knew it with absolute certainty. They knew themselves as a TA. They knew themselves as a volunteer. They knew themselves as a fifth dimensional being. And they helped others. And they fixed all the issues that's in world practical third dimensional world in their own city. And their kids got to stay. And then the kids learned their true identity. They learned about what forgiveness is. They learned how to get into their purpose, mission, and plan, divine plan. Guess what happens to the whole city? It turns into a golden age. That's
Yeah.
a mathematical guaranteed. And it's going to start here at the crown chakra of Mount Shasta in royalty. And it's going to get copied and pasted on every chakra on the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Everyone else will copy and paste what happens here in Mount Shasta. And
Yeah.
then that's how the golden age is going to keep moving through the Aquarian age for the next 2,000 years. When your income can match your housing, everybody turns into a Christ. So
Yes,
yeah,
very much. So follow Alpha, copy and paste in your area.
copy paste.
Something. He's making a lot of headlines, a lot of movement that is making a huge impact, and it all has rippling effects. So thank you so much, Alpha, for your wisdom, sharing in this episode with us. And just want to say thank you to the audience as well for your time for listening to this episode also.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love and light.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field. Sending you so much love.